So, like I was saying in the last little clip, a psychological sensation is more my mental state, okay, what I'm feeling, and, um, okay, not necessarily a physical feeling. Tener cuidado right here equals to be careful, okay? You're going to see that throughout your Spanish journey many times, okay? We're going to learn how to take that expression and make it a command. We're going to take that expression and put it into past tense, where I'd conjugate tener in pasado, okay? So this is especially this one in particular, you'll see throughout your journey of Spanish as we continue to progress. So for our purposes, tener cuidado is to be careful. And I can only change tener. I can't say cuidada. Okay, I cannot change the O right here at the end to anything other than that. Okay, I can change tener only. This poor little guy, this U right here should have 2 dots on it. That's why it's coming underlined red, okay? 2 dots on top of the U. Which I don't know how to get on this keyboard at the moment. But tener vergüenza. Vergüenza is to feel some type of embarrassment or shame. Okay, so perhaps the polar bear couldn't do the trick that he was supposed to do, and now his hands are over like, oh no, now I feel embarrassed. I feel ashamed, okay? And so to be embarrassed is tener vergüenza. And I can ask the polar bear, ¿Tienes vergüenza? And what would he say to me? Tengo vergüenza. So he doesn't change anything about vergüenza. He doesn't say vergüenzo. He doesn't say vergüenzas. He doesn't change that word. He only conjugates the tener. So if I'm the speaker asking the question to you, I change tener to tienes. But if I'm the responder and I'm speaking about myself, I use the yo form tengo. So tener cuidado, to be careful. Tener vergüenza, to feel embarrassed, to be embarrassed, okay? I would translate to be embarrassed. Let's go back. What's tener prisa? The dog. To be in a rush. The monkey. Tener miedo. To be scared. Tener celos. To be jealous. Tener confianza is to have what? Confidence. Okay, let's review. Tener sueño, what's that mean? To be sleepy. Tener dolor de. And I must have that little word de. Tener dolor de means to have pain. Tener frío, ay, to be cold. Tener calor, to be hot. Tener hambre, to be hungry, for lonche, almuerzo. Tener sed, to be thirsty. Tener años, age. Okay, so let's go back. We were last here. Tener cuidado equals to be careful. Tener vergüenza, 2 little dots on top of my U in my notes, is to be embarrassed. Okay, tener razón, to have reason, to be right. Okay, there's an accent on the O. To be right. So it looks like the guy is telling her, you're right. Or maybe you're not right. Okay, either way. Tener razón. So in a conversation, okay, 2 native speakers might be talking about any given subject. So let's just pick one. We'll say basketball, okay? And they're talking about basketball, and she's saying that something went wrong on the court, and he's arguing, no, that the ref should have called it, but it wasn't really the team's fault, and she's saying, no, it was most certainly the team's fault because they did that, okay? And then he goes back to the referee, and he talks to him, and they find out that it was actually the team's fault, and gosh, I'm not a sports person. Why did I choose this example? But, they decide that they couldn't call a timeout because it was actually the player's fault. So he comes back and he tells the girl what the referee was saying, and then he says, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You were right. I'm sorry that I yelled at you like that. I just thought, it's my team and I want them to win and I just wish that the ref would have called it. And she's like, "No, it's okay, but it was, the team's fault." And he could say, "You're right. Tienes razón." And that's how I would use that, okay? And not just in that example, but that is the expression in context. Okay, tener éxito. Look at this little guy, he's so cute. And this is to be successful. So this is a falso cognado. So a falso cognado, falso amigo, is to be the opposite of what a cognate is. So éxito looks like, written out, it looks like exit in English. It sounds like exit in English. It does not mean exit in Spanish. It means success. So that is one of those cases where a cognate is actually a false cognate, which in Spanish we can call falso cognado or falso amigo. So tener éxito equals to be successful, to have success. Now I can use that in a question. I can use it in a statement. Okay, let's go down here. Tener la culpa. To have the fault. Tener suerte. To be lucky, to have luck. So we went over tener razón, you are right, okay, to be right. Tener éxito, you are successful or to have some type of success. Tener la culpa can be like you are in the wrong, you have the blame, okay? And so it looks like, someone's shaming him. You have the blame, okay? To have blame, to have fault, okay? They both sound weird in English, but that's the general meaning of it, okay? So would I use this in a positive situation, tener la culpa? No, because that is, in the example of the basketball court, and the guy came back and he said, "Tienes razón, you know what, you were right." That guy also could have said, "It was my fault. Tengo la culpa." Okay, it was me that should be in the wrong. It was me to blame. It's my fault. Tener la culpa. I cannot change anything but tener. And then tener suerte is to have luck, regarding various different topics. Okay, so let's continue. Tener lugar, to take place. Instead of, when we use instead in English in paragraph forms, we would use tener lugar. And I might put de after lugar in certain sentences. But for us, to take place of is a fine translation, and once we get into more complex writing, we can talk about how to manipulate it even further. Tener ganas de. Now this is where I have to have the de. Sometimes I have a choice and sometimes I don't. So if it's written there, chances are I don't have a choice, it has to go. But if it's not written there, then I probably have to evaluate the context to determine if I need it or not. So tener ganas de is to feel like. You're going to use that a lot in the coming up units, okay? When we start talking, you're going to have dialogue with each other about, sporting events going on at school or different activities and extracurriculars at school. We're still going to use some school vocabulary from first semester. And then say, "Do you feel like going to the dance tonight with me? Do you feel like going to prom? Do you want to go to the basketball game at 7? And you can use "Tienes ganas de?" And you can use that in those types of contexts as well. And tener en cuenta, to take into account. So the first one on this slide, tener lugar, I'm not going to use that frequently, so don't spend a lot of time studying it, okay? I'm not going to use that frequently just yet. And the last one, tener en cuenta, I'm also not going to use that too much yet. But tener ganas de, I will use that one. Okay, so which tener expression is associated with the following? Your birthday, What should I put there? And hopefully you are all developing an answer when I'm waiting here, okay? I would use tener años for my cumpleaños. Being in a desert. Go back and look at what we wrote. Probably tener sed. Maybe tener hambre. Ghost? Think. Which one would you choose to say it either out loud or say it to yourself? Ghost, I would use tener miedo. I'm scared of ghosts. Winning the Mega Millions. Oh my, I wish. Tener suerte. Being green with envy. So there's an idiomatic expression in English. Green with envy is to be greedy or jealous. And how do I say to be jealous in Spanish? Tener celos. Antarctica or Craig, Colorado. Sheesh, what is it saying here? Tener frío. And the last one, running late. Tener prisa. Okay. Let's continue. Belly ache. So pain in my belly is a tener dolor de. And after de, I would use belly. Tener dolor de el estómago. Being sent to jail. To be creative, I could say no tiene suerte. In this case, you don't have luck. You're not lucky. Because sure, I can add the word no in front of it and then negate the sentence. No tiene suerte. But I could also say what there? If you're being sent to jail, you're probably tener vergüenza. Okay, perhaps you feel embarrassed. Okay, and all of these, okay, what I say doesn't have to be the only one. There's probably more than one right answer. Pulling an all-nighter. Oh, tiene sueño. Embarrassment. Okay, that's definitely where vergüenza is going to come into. And they spelt it wrong. There's a lot going on here. Embarrassment. Tener vergüenza. Hot dogs. Oh, if I'm seeing hot dogs, especially in Philly, oh, that's one of the things I asked for being home was a hot dog with sauerkraut on it. And so I'm tengo hambre. To be hungry. And Mr. Bennington, that must have been the teacher who made this. And I don't know which one we could use for him because we don't know how to describe him. So let's put me there. Señorita Barzeski. Oh, I would love to know what you would say for that. So keep that in mind and I'll ask you when I see you. And let's see. So to use one of the tener expressions, you have to conjugate tener. That's what we talked about. And it gives you examples. And that's it. So I hope that helped you better understand tener expressions, and we'll go over them when I see you on Skype, and that's what the quiz is on. This and only this. Adios, buen día.